There are some benefits to having a social media presence. We won't say all the bad things because if you're using it the right way, number one, you can learn at a increasing rate more than any time in history, right? We're living in a 21st century where
Right.
there's literally this is literally the information age, right? YouTube everything, and it is literally doable. If you want to YouTube how to build a computer, anything, right? I won't say all the examples. So you can use in social media, YouTube is considered to be one of those social media platforms. You can literally take advantage of all of this. You can take advantage of being able to connect with people across seas all over the world, right? There's so many benefits. You can launch your business and monetize that if you have enough following and enough followers, right? You could actually speak up for something you believe in and stand up and speak for a cause, like I do on my TikToks. Go follow TED Talks with Trey if y'all don't know. But yeah, you can use your platform for good. It can actually be a positive light. It's not all bad. However, we need to understand the psychological effect, and we need to be conscious of what we're doing, how we're spending our time, and what we're actually posting. And I do want to ask you something. I know we're about to wrap up here, bro, but I just had to get this question out here. So we know we post our highlights on social media, right? You and I might be guilty of that as well. Like everyone posts their highlights, right? That's just how it's been created to be. Do you think it will be socially accepted, number one, and or will there be a difference in the psychological processing and how people are perceiving social media and how they're trying to portray themselves if people were actually real and transparent with what the fuck is going on? Like, do you think that there would be a
Yeah,
difference?
for sure. If people
Okay.
posted the good days and the bad days, they wouldn't be on social
Hmm.
media as much. People would be more honest and more transparent. We wouldn't have a very high suicidal rate or children in middle school and early college, right? And even young adults being so depressed with their situation because it's a game of comparison. You go on a lot of social media platforms and people are just posting nothing but highlights and the great parts of their life, and your life might either be ordinary or your life might not be going that great, but you see everybody else's life appears to be amazing, so now you getting depressed. You think you're behind. You think you're failing somewhere in life. In reality, you're not realizing that everybody has their own journey, and that same person who's posting that highlight of this amazing trip or this amazing meal, they lost their grandfather the other day, right? They're in debt right now, right? They took that trip on a credit card that they can't afford. You don't really know what's going on in people's lives, but social media paints this mirror. It basically literally puts a blockage between us and reality and us and the real person. You see what I'm saying? Right? There's people
100%.
who are
And
on there. There's people who are on there that seems happy, and in reality, if you watch or listen or do enough research or do enough digging, you see they're not genuinely happy. But social media paints that picture. And honestly, it doesn't matter if you don't have to be ignorant, you don't have to be dumb to fall for this trick. Even smart people fall for this illusion, right?
even successful
And
people,
be affected by it.
highly successful people.
Yeah.
Um, One last thing, bro, and this just actually, I just thought about this. It seems like different social medias are used for different things, right? Like
Yep.
Instagram is more used to glorify the highlights as far as places people go and looking good and having that aesthetic look. Facebook could be the same thing, but on Facebook I do see I'm not really on Facebook, but I do see more of people are posting their personal business. I'm talking like airing out everything that's going on. Like they're like it's the diary or something. And I'm
Yeah,
not
I
trying
see.
to
I see Facebook more
knock anybody.
tailored towards like not only like you said, like a public diary, but also it's very tailored to like cultism. If that mean if what that means, because they have Facebook groups, right, where people will gravitate towards those groups, right? Facebook has become a platform where you can like you said, Instagram is like to show like the trips, the vacation, the highlight reels, right? The pictures, da da da. I feel like Twitter is to give your like opinion, whether it's biased, unbiased, whether it's true or not. People go on Twitter and they say straight BS nonsense that they don't even believe themselves. They're just putting it on there to put on there. Twitter damn near is like a Finsta, like how Finsta was back in the day. And Facebook is like how you said, that kind of like that personal diary, right? That people, use it for to an extent. So yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that.
So is there what I was getting at as far as the Facebook, because like I say, I see this and I don't agree with everyone airing out their dirty laundry and everyone else's dirty laundry. Um, when I mention if people were transparent with their lives, I'm not talking about other people's lives and putting them to shame. I don't think that's a right resolution. If you're trying to vent, write it down in a diary or go to a therapist. It's like, but what? And there's no, I'm not trying to knock anyone who does that. I just don't think that's beneficial for anybody, because that just creates drama. And then it creates people who are looking at your post only because it's negative. You only have 100 likes and 57 comments because it's a negative post, right? Negative things get more attention, and that's not the right
Exactly.
attention that we should be wanting to attract, right? So my question is, if we were
Exactly.
transparent on these apps, would it have the same effect? I already asked you that. Would it have the same effect? And do we need to go to those extremes as far as being completely blunt and taking off the filter and just letting everyone have it in terms of us verbalizing them in a bad light, right? I don't. I'm gonna answer my own
Yeah.
question. I don't think we should
Yeah.
do that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, no, you're right, bro. You're 100% right. If people started just being fully transparent and true, don't get me wrong. Like, I think people would still be on these platforms because at this point, people are just in generally addicted to knowing what's going on in the world. Right? You can be addicted to
Right.
knowledge. You can be addicted to just knowing more information. Right? Just like how, and it's not even about
Mhm.
social media. Somebody could be addicted to the news. Every day they come back from work, they're watching the news for 2 to 3 hours every day after work, and they're becoming a very negative person because what's mostly on the news? Negative stuff for some reason, right?
Mhm.
And I actually talked about this in one of my YouTube videos, right? And no, actually, we talked about this in another video about mindset. That us as human
Right.
beings, we evolve to focus on the negative things for our own protection, to locate where the
Mhm.
predators were, to locate where the poison berries and the poison fungus were, for us to not eat those things. So,
That's survival instinct.
and even the feeling of fear, right? When you're in a moment of fear,
Right.
right, your senses are heightened. So fear sometimes
Mhm.
can be in a stronger emotion, and anger can be like a stronger emotion than happiness, or bliss, right? So we go on social media and we see all these things that evoke the negativity in us, that evoke the fear, the anger in us. And what happens? We have been conditioned to put our attention and our focus on that because our brain, we still have the same brain that we had millions and thousands of years ago. Do you think the difference
Mhm.
from back then to now is the phones and the platforms that didn't exist back then? You see what I'm saying? Now we
Right.
don't need to worry about bears and predators and stuff like that. We need to worry about bad politics, right? Bad policies. We need to worry about the things that are in our food. All of these things, right? That in reality, you might not see them, you might not feel them like how we did back then, but social media,
Mhm.
it paints all of these negative things. So now you're basically, your senses and your natural instincts for protection is being hijacked by a computer, by a cell phone. And that's why you're so
100%.
addicted to it.